Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. First item on the agenda is to disperse the warrant.
I make a motion we sign the disbursement warrant.
Motion is made. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Next item on the agenda is approving assigning Waterville Country Club as a liquor license.
No incidents to remark on. I think they've had 2 rescue calls up there over the year. Nothing as far as alcohol related.
Thank you.
I make a motion we renew the liquor license and the special amusement permit.
I have a second. Thank you. All in favor? Next is to sign the sewer commitment.
Jen, have you got a copy of that?
I do.
Okay.
So there's a liquor license and a special amusements permit on that.
Because I also have a copy of that.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good, so.
Hi, Mr. Buzzell. How are you, sir?
Great, you?
Good, good. You sitting
Well,
behind that young
I'll
lady
take
here
that
on your
one.
scene.
Yeah. It's like school, back row.
Yeah, yeah.
Not really, I'd be over in the corner.
Get you covered.
All mine.
I know. You know, I meant to bring some pens over too, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a stash of pens and just put them up at the workstation.
Generally screen red stuff.
I can get AJ to take 3 of these desks also and put a drawer on it. I don't think that would be such my job, but
I was thinking just have a tote here or something, to keep a few supplies in. Couldn't I put it in the cleaning area?
we're actually going to build a cabinet.
Oh, you are?
Cabinet for this one
Oh, then that's
over
gonna be
here.
just perfect.
We just have it. I'm supposed to get it
Yes.
locked today too on this week.
We've all been busy.
They did angel the tables, so you guys can all see each other over the
I like that.
It does.
Thank you.
Next item is to discuss the Kennebec County Revised HAD mitigation plan.
We
Hazmat.
received the updated copy from Sean Goodwin. He's the director from the Kennebec County EMA. And basically every few years they revamp this to get facts correct, populations, different things that have changed within a town that cause a hazardous type situation. Oakland mentioned, I don't know if you've had a chance to go through this, but there's a lot of red lines. You know, the red lines were taking old dates out, put new dates in. We've got Red Brook down here that seems to be an issue every so often when we get a huge storm or a lot of snow. So that's addressed in here. And the reason that we need to have this updated and signed is because this allows us to apply for insurance if we have any hazard in the future. And so Kennebec County EMA keeps a record on file as we do as well. And it's just keeping our records up to date that allows us to provide insurance. So, have you any questions on this, or if you don't have any, I have a sheet for you to sign so that we can get this down to John. And all towns in Kennebec County are going through the same process.
Is there anything glaring that they pointed out that has either changed for the better or the worse?
Nothing has really changed for the town of Oakland. Everything that I've gone through comparatively to the old one is pretty much the same on the dates. Our hazardous areas are identified in there. There's a few of them. I mean, they talked about the dryness from the summer, forest fire potentials. Those were all new, and you know, that's something that was added in. you know, but there's nothing that really stands out to me. And I talked with Dave Coughlin, also has a copy of this, and he's gone through it, and there's nothing on there that he was making remarks on either.
On a related but not pertaining to this, the hazardous waste disposal, did I miss that somewhere, or are we doing that again this year?
That's being done, the signage up at the town office, and I believe is it this Saturday?
This Saturday, I think.
This Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday,
Have-
over in Winslow.
Right, Winslow.
Yeah, did we vote on the money for that yet? Usually every year, don't we vote to spend, what, 1,500 or $2,000 for that or something?
Yeah, it was 2,000, I don't know if we just signed it and
I
sent
think
it
we
in.
signed it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize
But
that it was,
it's in the budget anyway.
Yeah,
it is
in the
Yeah,
budget.
so,
Yeah.
I don't know why we've voted on it in the past, but it's
Yeah.
always in the budget.
It's in the budget for 2,000.
Maybe that would be something good to get in the paper, that Oakland residents could sign up, and transfer station, and do we have any connections?
we got a reporter sitting here, we have a,
You can send it, like, information about it to happening at centralmaine.com.
But will it make it, you think for Saturday, for Friday? It's
Um,
happening Saturday?
You gotta sign, when's the sign up ahead of time?
I can ask her, but usually it does have to be ahead of time.
they've been advertising at the transfer station, so,
And radio.
the radio. Yeah. I mean, we have more than just one town that's participating in this, and, you know, it's been a collective effort to get the word out there.
But you have to call the transfer station to sign
You have
up.
to sign up, give them a
Not
whole,
like-
you gotta fill out a form and all that kind of good stuff. See, I haven't been up to the transfer station in a bunch of weeks, so I missed it. You invited me today, though. You invited me to go up with you, I should have.
I did invite you. We had a good tour today.
Managers reports next on the agenda,
Do we have to have a motion for this or anything for this?
or do we just sign it?
Or just sign?
Well, we probably ought to have a motion on it. We could get a motion to,
I make a motion, we accept the Kennebec County Hazardous Mitigation Plan update, and that we sign it.
For a second? Second, all in favor?
thank you, Jim. And on the manager's report, Kathy Gagan has forwarded her assessor's report. The one thing that's notable on there, the value for the town of Oakland has actually gone down, $650,000 within the RSU 18 group for state valuation. Some of the other towns have gone up. A couple of us have gone down, that would be China and Oakland.
What does that mean for us?
Well, that's part of the equation for the sharing, the state, school sharing. And so if our value goes down, that means that's gonna have an impact on us. But they're going through the cost sharing process right now. I know that Don's been involved in that. And
You want me to give a 2-minute review?
I'd love to have you while we're on this right now.
I'm not an official, I'm just a public representative who, if somebody's out, I can participate more fully. But it's been not contentious, but it's definitely polarized. Belgrade and Rome are definitely looking at changing the formula to 75-25, with 75 based on student count, 25 on valuation, where it's now the other way around, 25 on student count, 75 on valuation. Obviously, they pay more per student than we do. We get more state money based on valuation than they do. The argument had typically been that because the state provides so much money to the Oakland part of the equation, that it's sort of balanced out. But as taxes go up, you know, Belgrade and Rome are very sensitive to the fact that they're paying more per student than the other towns. Just so happens that China and Oakland are in the same position. We're the ones that have the lowest valuation per student than the other towns. So going even further down will, you know, compound that a little bit, showing that they should be paying a little more of the total package. One key point is that it's not the total state support. The essential programs, which is the vast majority of the funding, is strictly done by evaluation. It's only the amount above that. It's the extra portion that we vote on each year to raise so much money above the EPS program. That's where the student count comes in. Our two of our representatives have spoken out quite succinctly that there shouldn't be any change. This is the way it was intended to be. To go further would drastically affect the towns of Oakland and China. The Belgrade role would go down a little bit, but not significantly. So they've argued, not argued. There hasn't been any arguing. It's just sort of positioning, and there's definitely those two sides that China and Oakland specifically would like to keep it pretty much as it is, where Belgrade and Rome would like to swap the evaluation and student count.
Don, where's Sydney fit into this?
Sydney is probably more towards our side. Really, Oakland is the biggest receiver of state support. China's second, Sydney's third. So the three of us, basically are in the same boat, where Rome and Belgrade are definitely paying more per student. And, they got so many fewer students that it's logical we're going to have to provide a bigger chunk of support. But as you've known, Belgrade had talked about leaving the district, petitioning. I think they realize it's a long process. It's probably not doable. And I don't think there's a lot of push to do that. What they'd like to do now is obviously to see if that formula can be changed a little bit to emphasize student count more than it has. So right now, there have been 2 sessions. Third one's coming up at the beginning of November. The political nature of it is that not only do you have to come up with an agreement, but then the 5 towns have to vote to decide if they support that agreement.
There's a long process still.
Well, I think it's really not, it's the long ways to get to the fact, what's the most equitable and fairest way to do it. And that word fair and equity comes up all the time, and what's fair to me is not fair to Jan, is not fair to Gary. Everybody's got their own definition of what's fair. And they can all argue a fair situation, but they're not the same arguments.
So when you say the towns have to vote, what are you saying? That
the committee will vote. Well, hopefully the committee will come up with a consensus. That's what they'd like to do. If not, there'll be a vote. There'll be 5 votes. If there is a change, then it'll go to the communities to vote, and it's a total district vote. It's not town by town. So it's the count of the votes individually that's going to determine.
And this is going to take place during budget season?
It won't this year.
No.
Well, excuse me. They can't, there's no way it'll be done by this election day. So it's not going to happen.
It'll be next year.
It'll be the next budget cycle.
There was a scenario mentioned in the article, Dawn, that if something happened, it would be the vote would be by individual towns rather than all the towns collective, and I don't remember what that said.
If there's a change, and some of these things are not perfectly clear, they're going to have a representative from the state coming in next meeting. But the way it appears now, if they want to add median income into the mix, or if they want to add anything else other than valuation and student count, then it goes to a town-by-town vote. All towns have to agree to it.
On Kathy Gagan's paperwork she gave us, if you look at the 3rd page of the Board of Assessment Review, the top line state valuation, 2015 we saw a $9.6 million increase. 2016 we saw a $6.9 million increase. So 2017 is actually the first time in the last 3 years that we've seen a decrease in valuation. Gentlemen, that's all I have here.
Mr. Fox, did you have anything tonight, sir?
Nope.
That's it. Mr. Buzzell,
No, sir.
thank you for coming.
We actually have an executive session.
I know that, but I figured I'd go around while everyone's still here.
I'm all set.
I might just mention that I went to the MMA session in Bangor, and there was the two companies that are moving into First Part, Brad Jackson from KRDA introduced them around. We sat and had lunch with them. It's Road King Technologies and a company called Azimuth that provides municipal tax mapping services. And apparently it's a pretty good bet that they are going to move into First Part. Have their businesses in there. And there was a lot of discussion in one of the programs up there about solar. Belfast is putting solar panels on the whole of their landfill, their covered landfill, and they're up there putting solar panels on it, plus the roof of their fire station. And Madison's putting in a 20-acre solar farm up there that's going to feed onto the grid. And quite a few other towns are working on putting in solar farms.
We've been contacted by Revision on this, and they gave me a presentation, but it was gonna cost the town of Oakland an awful lot of money. And the
Yeah.
payback was, gonna be long-term,
Yeah, most of them said the payback was quite lengthy on
10
some of them.
to 20 years, I believe.
Yeah, they were talking 15, 20 years, which is very slow pay. But the town of Kennebunk, they put in a gas-fired generator, and their payback is less than 4 years. And what it's doing is providing their electricity, and the exhaust heat from it is providing heat from them. And that's working out pretty well. But they're running their own power load with their own generator. That's all I have.
Mike, today, I said I didn't have anything to say, but
No,
I
it's
changed my
fine.
mind. The guys up, the public works crew's been up there fixing, doing Huzzy Hill, the basic part of it, the culvert underground part, they're almost done. They'd be probably done tomorrow or something. Done a real good job. Some of us up there have given them a hard time, but I try not to. No, they've done a real good job, and they've had like excellent weather. I mean, they're digging down there, you know, a couple spots, they were down pretty close to 12 feet, I would say, and it's like bone dry, which is like so highly unusual for up there. It's not funny, but
Yeah, it's crazy.
so.
I like the horse farm you're putting in up there too, it looks good.
We won't discuss that, but.
No, I thought it looked good today, I was up there.
Yeah.
Looked good.
Yeah, no, they're gonna back off on doing the gas. The last I talked to him, they're not gonna tear the road up until next year because he's so late in the year, and he's, I don't wanna use the term behind, but he's got other projects to do for getting ready for winter, so. But no, everything looks good. They've done a real good job.
It's good to hear. I'll pass that on.
Well, at this time, we do have to enter into executive session in reference to realty, some real estate and development stuff. Under 1 MRSA, section 405, 6 and C. All, thank you for coming in. I have a
Motion to
motion.
do that.
Can we get second? Second, all in favor? Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you later. And young lady.
I noticed there was an article in the paper, Madeline, about the Dunkin' Donuts in Westfield.
Yeah. We tried to get.
We got after Madeline one day about, we didn't know why they had one